did watch the reunion.
Okay.
And can I tell you one thing? Mm-hmm. They ain't like Hermione, B. I don't think Hermione, Harry, and Ron got on.
Emma Watson.
Yeah, I don't think they got along that well.
Towards the end.
Towards the end, there was that one moment where, like, I think Ron was trying to have, like, a beautiful TV moment.
Oh, you caught
He's
that?
like, I love you. And she was like,
she would not
thanks,
say that.
Roop.
She wouldn't say that shit.
And
He said he doubled down, and she still
he's like,
wouldn't
I love
say
you.
it.
And he had to, I mean, not romantically. He even had to, like, take it back.
Awkward.
Son, she made it awkward.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that, like, and this is not her fault because they were like young kids going into this, and like she's a young kid who convinced herself she was Hermione and then became Hermione, right? Like as a child, she was a huge fan. Did you watch the whole thing?
No, I didn't finish it.
And that's something that's really interesting about this specific book is that like all these kids, or not all of them, a lot of them were super fans of the books.
Yeah.
Before they could form their own identities, so they're forming their own identities around the characters in these books
I didn't
already.
even think about that.
And then they become them for the next 10 years of their lives.
Yeah, it's weird.
And like Ron even pointed out, he was the most self-aware, the most interesting.
That's why
He's
he
like a
quit
G.
acting, dude. He's the best.
Dude, I
He owns
fucks
like
with
an ice
that
cream
guy.
truck now.
No.
Just, like, chills.
Yeah, he's done. He's
Yeah.
done with the business. I made my money. I'm good. I got fuck you money.
Oh, shit, I didn't know
I got a fuck you ice cream truck.
So,
He got to change his look, though.
yeah, no, he looks like he owns an ice cream truck.
No,
Like
but he looks exactly like the character. It's like he wants it.
Yeah,
He still wants to be
true.
noticed.
How can he
and all
change
that.
his look though? I think he just don't truly care.
The Harry Potter kid, he don't look nothing like he.
Yeah, because he's trying to be an actor. He's trying to separate himself at all times from this thing. I think he's like, yo, I did this thing, it was dope as fuck, and now I don't need to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I did what I need to do.
He treated acting like childhood basketball. Like you get into it when you're like 10,
and then
you're 16. You're like, I don't really want to do this. And you had to do 2 more movies. He's like, get me out of here.
But the thing was interesting is that Hermione threatened to leave. Mm-hmm. Like, again, this is me I'm totally assuming this. She could be the sweetest person in the whole world. But remember, she was getting like activist-y and all that kind of stuff as well. Do you remember
She
all
went
this?
to university, didn't she go to like Yale or
Yeah,
Brown?
like they made a big deal about her going to an Ivy League
She
school.
even made a point about it in the reunion.
Yeah.
Where she's like, all like these 3 women that were in it, like they just became amazing women and activists. And whatever. Like, she made a point to point out who became good activists.
Yeah.
Which is like Hermione in the book. Mad annoying with that shit.
Yeah, so what I was watching, I was like, it is possible that this girl developed such a big ego and sense of self-importance because of the magnitude of the character. Like anybody I think would, any child put in that position, I think would. Like the fact that Harry Potter is remotely humble, like the guy who plays him, Daniel Radcliffe, like he seems so anxious and nervous.
Yeah.
Like,
well, if you think about the character is, if they become the character, his whole character is the humble kid. Like, I don't want any of this.
But that motherfucker's cocky. That motherfucker thinks he could take on everything. Like, Harry Potter is that dude, right? Like, I'll save the world.
Right.
Motherfucker need to learn how to hold his breath. Right? It's like every movie is like you underwater, fam. Like, what's up? Like, I when you watch them all in a row, it's all drowning.
Yeah. Have the gills, like, the gills.
Why did he gill it up every time?
Yeah.
What did he use to get the gills?
God damn it, Miles.
I know that.
Trivia.
What?
Gillyweed.
Yeah.
Don't be knowing. You should read the books. There's a lot of detail in the books.
That was kind of fire.
Anyway, I could see her like getting this sense of like self-importance, but also not being attached to the cast. It seemed like Ron and Harry were a little bit more bonded, and they're young kids. They're around the same age.
Young boys.
And maybe just being
They're
guys
boys.
too. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Go, Miles.
I have a different theory. I think that at the point where she was like, oh, I want to get out of here is right when she's coming into the age of like sexualization. And the guys aren't getting sexualized like she was at that age. And there was like mad crazy stuff about Hermione. There's all these crazy things going on about her like being 16, 17 in these movies. And that's when she's like, oh, fame was fun as a kid. And now I'm coming into it and the guys aren't getting what I'm getting. They're getting like all the adulation. They're getting like, they get to be handsome. And now I'm getting weird DMs and like
just a bunch of rapists coming after me when I'm 16.
Yeah, she was getting like stalked and shit. She had to get like mad restraining orders. And she even had like an 18th birthday countdown clock website.
On a website. She had security detail when she turned like 15. Oof. And the guys were able to just like sort of be dudes. And they got to be best
what
buddies.
a piece of shit I am for making that. You are a piece of shit. I only thought that because she wouldn't say I love you back to Ron when he was saying it as a friend. And I was like, this is the cruelest thing ever because you know the whole world is going to watch this.
Yeah.
And all they want is to see these two people in real life say I love you to one another. Yeah. But maybe she got a boyfriend who was like jealous or something like that.
No. Because she said I love you to Snipe. Or not Snipe. The
Snape?
other
Alan Jackson.
Malfoy.
Oh, Malfoy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she said she was in love with him. Wasn't that a thing that came out?
They were like, oh, I love you, but not romantically.
Yeah, she's like, I love him. We have like a bond.
Yeah.
He was dope too. Malfoy was
dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Emma Watson has like some issues with men in her life, and it makes sense because she got like fucked over by the internet. You know what I mean? Like all these dudes on the internet. So like all the activist shit, I'm assuming is coming out of being like sexually objectified when she's 13.
I think that's a great point. Also, yeah, great
Objectification is bad.
Yeah, objectification is bad, dude. You cannot objectify these women.
You cannot objectify children. That's a fact.
Children, but when they're adults,
grown ass women,
make up for it. Make up for it. Make up for what you didn't give them as kids.
Yeah.
Let the ball go.
I let you be a kid. Now you finna be an adult.
Yes. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you would want to stand up for women if you experience the worst type of behavior from
and the
men
worst
that
types
women
of
could
men.
Experience. Yeah,
like a guy that would do that. I mean, I guess it's you don't know them, so it's all fun and games to a bunch of dudes. They just have this joke, but like that's a girl, yo. That's a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah,
you don't think about that, but like, yeah, I'm sure that fucking. Yeah, I'm sure that warped her view of men.
I almost think that's the worst type of hot to be is like nerdy hot.
Because you get the worst dudes.
Because you get like the weirdest dudes that are into like nerdy hot girls, and I think those guys are creepier than just like.
What?
Well, you pointed out Akaash.
Who's in the comments, bro? Who's in the comments? A bunch of fucking Akashs going crazy. Give me a number. I love you.
No. We would propose marriage like gentlemen.
You do.
That's the Indian.
Yeah,
that's the Indian. Hey, gentlemen, dog. 100%. Through and through.
And she's in England, in London. They got a.
We wouldn't have no countdown clock. We married that bitch at age.
Wild boy, but it's facts.
Yeah.
But wild boy.
Yeah.
Miles, what the fuck are you opening up over there?
This is like a coloring book page.
I was about to start drawing during the podcast.
What were you about to do?
Every pod, I just doodle so that I pay attention and am not staring at you guys because it gets you guys off of the pod sometimes.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was a map of something, and I was
Look
like,
at you
first,
being a piece of shit again.
Wow.
Guy's trying to concentrate and do his fucking job.
I
and you being
know.
a piece of
I
shit.
know. If only you did it.
Touche.
No, but I thought it was an actual like map of something, and I was like, "Does he have a game of not a Game of Thrones? Harry Potter map?" I thought you had like a Diagon Alley map or something like that.
What's the map called? What's the map called?
The Diagon Alley map.
No, the
Map
one that you
of
can
Quest.
see the people walk around in.
Oh,
in
the
Hogwarts.
map of conservatorship.
It's the countdown clock map.
No, what is it? The
Marauders map.
The Marauders map. The
Marauders.
Marauders
Hey,
map?
dude. Hey, dude. Why do you have to pronounce Diagon Alley exactly?
Because
Because it's diagonally.
it's diagonally.
No, if you say diagonally, that takes you to another spot. Do you remember when that happened to Harry Potter? The first time they took the dust and they went into the fireplace of the Weasley's house, and then he ended up in diagonally, not Diagon Alley.
What store did it end up on? In. I'm so nerdy. I've done this shit a billion times over.
Go. Yes, and what else is in there?
The vanishing.
The case, which is how the Death Eaters get into motherfucking Hogwarts.
Yep.
Y'all not even fans. You're not even a fan, bro. You're not a fan.
Yeah.
You're not a fan.
That map
your
is
mind.
Miles' restraining order from Emma Watson.
Yo, is Emma Watson your number one?
Yeah, that's a Miles.
Yo, as a kid, yeah.
Like,
We were the same age
beat
coming
dick
out.
mad times or not?
No, I just was like, because I grew up the same age. I was like, I'm Harry Potter, and then he got to be Harry Potter, and I was like, fuck, I'm not Harry Potter anymore. I was like, all right, I'll be Draco. Like, I was willing to be anyone to like fantasize, be in those books.
Yeah.
I was such a nerd about
Oh,
that
if I read those books as kids, oh my god, dude, it's like the fucking coolest thing in the world. When you're an adult, it's like, oh, this is cool, it's fun to read. When you're a kid, you're like, I wish this was real. I bet, like, I would love to be this. I can't imagine, dude. Thank God. If I read this shit as a kid, I'd be such a fucking loser. It'd be unbelievable.
Look at me.
What? What? Y'all waiting for me to say some
Yeah,
shit? to
you're
him.
laughing deviously.
I was because I was gonna say some devious shit, but then I felt like he really cared about what he just said, and I didn't want to undercut it.
All right, but don't
All right,
tell
thanks,
him.
Doug.
What were you going to say? Just off mic.
I was gonna say probably some homosexual slurs.
That would have been fun.
Yeah,
It would have been well timed.
yeah, it would have been well
The
timed.
moment has passed.
Okay, so can we get to this fucking Jon Stewart situation, because this is a big deal. So Jon Stewart basically joked around that Harry Potter's creator and writer J.K. Rowling must be anti-Semitic because she made the goblins at Gringotts Bank
All the negative stereotypes of Jews.
all the negative stereotypes of Jews. Except the money one.
Yeah,
That's not
and
negative.
also positive stereotypes.
Yeah, it's positive. Super positive. Like controlling
I mean,
the
they
wealth.
are honest bankers. They're not stealing people's money.
Yeah. Like I think there's only a couple stereotypes that are bad here.
It's true.
They're honest bankers, very secure system.
Yeah.
Right?
They got
Clearly,
dragons locked up. Like they
dragons locked up, taking care of their community. Like, what is the negative thing?
Nose.
It nose and stature, and it's like, dude, John, why are you putting so much value in physical looks, dude? Like,
They're also
there's
kind of
more to
rude.
that.
They're not really friendly.
Say what?
They're not really that
Oh
friendly.
yeah, you can't
Well,
trust
you're
them.
at work. You're at work.
No, but
this
you
is
can't,
a job.
You can't trust him in a deal.
Why not?
Harry made a deal with that guy, and then he fucking left him. Took the sword and left him.
That is a good ass point.
I remember reading it and being like,
All right,
"That's
you're
not
right,
bad."
Jon Stewart.
And then when he fucked him over at the end, I was like, okay, yeah, this bitch don't like juice.
Yeah. So he made a joke about this. He didn't
Right.
actually think
he was
that.
just joking on the pod.
Joking on the pod.
Newsweek comes along.
And then what happens?
And they run a whole story. Jon Stewart claims Harry Potter's anti-Semitic and blah, 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 cancel culture, whatever. It gets picked up. Everyone's talking about how Jon Stewart's trying to cancel Harry Potter. And then Jon Stewart goes on another show, I think like this morning.
Right.
And it just goes, yo, it was a joke. I was riffing with my friends on a podcast.
Yeah.
He brought it up. We talked about Harry Potter for a few minutes. Newsweek, go fuck yourself.
Yes. This is a common
He said, Newsweek, your business model is arson. Like all you guys do is profit off destruction and try to ruin everything.
Yeah.
And then he said, what's worse is I used to respect you. You used to mean something. What happened?
Yeah.
And he said, you used to be my go-to when the newsstand was out of
bodega?
Time magazine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great headline. Jon Stewart calls out J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I'm sure that these, Newsweek or whatever it is, all these magazines, all these blogs are looking at their data and they're like, wait, when J.K. Rowling says something anti-trans, it gets a lot of clicks. This HBO thing just came out. People are really into this HBO show. They're upset that she wasn't there. Let's see if we can tie into the interest in this HBO review of Harry Potter, tap into Jon Stewart, and make her look even more hateful since Harry Potter's creator being hateful is already doing well.
Yeah.
Like, this
everyone
is
loves
just-
Jon Stewart. They know he's Jewish.
And he's the person to call you out. Like, if Jon Stewart calls you out, it must be
Oh, yeah,
real.
you fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, but you also have to understand, Jon Stewart is a comedian.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's going to be hyperbolic. And comedians, we do it all the time on this fucking podcast. We just make a statement and try to prove it. Something
Yes.
ridiculous. All right, guys, we're going to take a break from this exclusive Patreon episode. You can get the full episode at patreon.com/flagrant2 because I got to tell you all about Lucy. Look, we're all adults here. And I know some of us choose to use nicotine to relax, focus, or just unwind after a long day. And Lucy is a modern oral nicotine company that makes nicotine gum, lozenges, and pouches for adults who are looking for the best, most responsible way to consume their nicotine. It's a new year. Why not start it out by switching to a nicotine product that you can feel good about? This is a no-brainer, something you must do. And if you're going to do it, you got to do it with Lucy. Look after yourself. You have the opportunity. So whoever it is that's going to switch to a better nicotine alternative, make sure they're using Lucy, and you can get all the products at lucy.co, okay? Go to lucy.co, use the promo code Flagrant, and you're going to get 20% off all products on your first order, including the gum or the lozenges. That's lucy.co. Use the promo code Flagrant at checkout. Now, I got to read this, okay? Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. But remember, if you're interested in a better way to use nicotine, visit lucy.co and be sure to use that promo code Flagrant for 20% off your first order. Now, let's get back to this exclusive Patreon.
But no, I think we've had that Gringotts convo on the pod before.
Yeah, I think we did. I think it's a common combo.
And he had it a month ago. So I feel like Newsweek saw it. They knew the reunion was coming out and like they plotted.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? It's like, I think if you're Jewish, like, do you think there are people that aren't Jewish that own banks? Because maybe if you're Scottish, you're not even thinking Jews run the banks because there aren't Jews in Scotland running the banks. So you're not even putting the stereotype together. So it might be something as a Jewish dude, the way you see the world informs the world you're seeing. Right?
She might have seen bankers as people she doesn't trust.
Yeah. So how can I
In
make
reality, I didn't even know banks were the stereotype or fact. I don't know. Jews run banks, but I was like, I don't like these banks.
stereotype or fact?
I don't know.
Who's to say? You know?
Who likes a bank? They
Banks
give you
suck,
money, you got to
yo.
give them more money?
Yeah, the overdraft fees, all this other dumb shit, minimum balance. They're just finding ways to take your
They
money
tell
all the
you
time.
how much of your money you're allowed to take out? That seems
Regardless of
unfair.
race, if you own a bank, you're a criminal.
Yes.
She's stealing money left and right.
Yeah, it just so
trust you.
happens that Jews occupy the most hated professions. That's not their fault. Right? It's not their fault, is it? Bankers, lawyers, the rest of them.
Oh, there it is.
No, but I guess what I'm saying, in all seriousness, like sometimes your own insecurities, your own stereotypes of like your world inform what you see.
Right.
Maybe living, I think she's Scottish, right? J.K. Rowling, or she was living in Edinburgh when she was doing it.
I think so.
Maybe she just had no attachment to that there. Like, I don't think there's tons of Jews in Scotland.
No.
Running the banks. It's probably just Scottish people every time she goes in the bank. And they're like, and she's like, oh, these fucking Scottish douchebags holding all the fucking money. They're like fucking goblins.
Yeah.
And then starts to describe what a goblin is. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that can happen.
Right.
No, or what?
Of course.
She also was homeless and poor at the time.
So
she
you
was
hate
writing the
banks.
book.
You really hate Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry,
Jews. I mean,
sorry.
Jews, yeah.
How do you think?
Newsweek's article, Flagrant 2 podcast.
How do you think how they handled J.K. Rowling?
I hated it and I turned it off for that reason.
Really?
I thought it was so scummy, dude.
Oh, what do you mean?
So
Either put her in or don't put her in.
in the reunion,
So
they
you
showed
turned it off after 5 minutes.
Yeah,
like you said.
basically.
I made it through 30 and then I
they
was like,
showed
I
talking
can't
head footage
do
of
this.
everyone talking, and then for J.K. Rowling, they play a 2019 interview that she did
for
like a press tour or something,
Yeah.
and then use that footage and then retroactively put it in to the talking.
Have her in it or don't have her in it.
I wish I never knew.
Wait, what?
I wish I never knew they used the old footage.
But you would have been like, why does this look mad shitty? Like
said
the
20
lighting
she
is
looked
worse.
great. She was
Said
glowing.
2019 in it.
Yeah, the lighting
Says
is
it,
like
right?
the background's not there. The lighting is fucked. It's like it
Yeah.
looks like it's shot poorly.
Yeah, but there's so much footage from back in the day that it didn't really seem like that big a deal. Like, yeah, she wasn't in the castle and shit with the rest of them. That would have been really cool to see her interacting with the characters that she created. Like,
Yes.
that would have been fun for us.
Yes.
And I think it's pussy of HBO to not have her in it. But also, I don't know if maybe she didn't want to be in it. Like, if this is coming from HBO and HBO is going, you know what? We're not going to put her in because she has this trans controversy, and that's just going to bring a negative, stigma to this show and everything involved, and we don't want that. So you've been canceled from your own project. That's pussy from HBO.
My understanding is that's why they put 2019 up there. Because that's before the controversies happened. So they're like,
yes.
hey guys, this is before any of this happened. We
Yes.
didn't know this old footage. And then
It's
everybody.
like when I say I'm German, but my family came here before 1940.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then people who are watching who are like, oh, she's anti-trans, I don't like her, are like, well, this was before. So you get to feel good about, you get to watch her.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
guilt-free.
Have her in or don't.
Guilt-free.
And to be honest, I'm not interested in what Christopher Columbus, great director, did Home Alone, did these two movies. I don't really care what you have to say. You took this book series that was a global phenomenon, and then your only job is don't fuck this up.
I got to give you
That's
push up. I got to give you pushback there, man.
I think he's good.
No, I got to
But I
give you
don't
pushback
really
there.
care what he has to say relative to what she has to say.
Okay, there you go. I would like to hear from her, but
Both.
if
Great.
sure, but if we're specifically talking about the films, and this is the reason why you need the director, like the director makes a film. It doesn't matter how great the acting is. Like the acting and all that kind of stuff is sprinkle on top. The director makes the fucking film. And a lot of times the director is the one telling those actors what he needs from them because he's seeing the whole film throughout. And these actors, they might not even know. Some of these actors, myself included, just show up with the fucking size for that day. They don't know how that scene relates to anything else.
Yeah, him in particular with kids, I get why he's good.
But
And
also, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like, what I was fascinated by the most, and it was like this daunting task. Like, who is doing all the fucking CGI? Who's doing all the effects? Is the director hiring someone who just specializes in that, and then he just goes, I don't have to think about this at all? Or is that also his vision? How somebody apparates, how somebody does a magic trick, what the wands look like? Like, all these things have to be created in your mind. So when I'm looking at the directors and I'm like, if they created all these things, like that all just came from their imagination. Yes, she described it in the books, but how it looks like in real life, I'm like, you're a fucking genius. Like you're dealing with make-believe.
No.
So now there's no precedent for make-believe.
You're right. I'll walk that back. It was
maybe
impressive.
I'm getting too excited about it.
No. It was impressive. And I think he was probably the best director. Like, in this, I don't know if this is in the book or not. There's so many details, it's hard to keep up. But like the way the staircase moves as you're walking up and connects it, that's like a fucking, if you just imagine, that's like what a magical thing would be. That's dope as fuck. So he should be in it. But without her, my interest drops considerably, and I think it's such a bitch move to not have her in.
Yeah, I think you also, as a creator, have a lot of respect for creators.
Absolutely.
And I think that there's certain people that they look at this as like a parallel universe to the one that they lived in their life. And they just want to see these characters hang out together. It'd be almost like if we saw like Will Smith and Charlton or whatever his name is.
Yeah. What's his name?
Carlton. Alfonso Ribeiro.
The Fresh Prince reunion. I grew up with the Fresh Prince. I love the Fresh Prince reunion.
Right.
I got to see these guys come together. I haven't seen them in so long.
And even if they're not in character, you just like, oh, this is fire to see these people that I grew up watching, like hanging out and telling stories about. I think for a lot of people, that's what it was. And you have a different perspective because you create.
Yes.
So if you were excommunicated from your own creation, you'd be like, what the fuck is going on over? Y'all really going to go talk without me?
And I remember earlier when I first said HBO ain't shit, Mark was like, what about Game of Thrones? If they had a Game of Thrones reunion without George R.R. Martin, would you watch it? And I was like, I probably wouldn't.
I would.
But here's the difference. We hadn't really heard of Game of Thrones as a book series. I don't think any of us had. Then this TV series comes along, and that's how we heard of it. Harry Potter, every human being on Earth had heard of, and then they were like, oh, they're going to make a movie about this book that everyone has read. Every child on Earth has read this book that has access to it.
Good point.
So you're just turning that into a movie. I want to hear what she has to say, because she's the one that made this shit fire. Game of Thrones, none of us knew about the books. None of us have interest in the books even now. And that's the only reason we care about it is the TV series. So I want to hear what they have to say, more than the author.
Yeah.
No, with J.K. Rowling is different.
I don't think there's anybody who doesn't want to hear from J.K. Rowling. Yes. I think we all do. But
that's why it was more of a problem to me.
I completely get that. But I was excited to hear what each director had to say and like what their process was. I'm also just curious about like, making films. So it's like, how do you hire somebody who's going to have that vision? Like the one guy who gave them homework, Alfonso Cuarón, or whatever like that. Like, cool. He was like, these people are growing up now. Like, this is where they go from kids to like young adults. Yeah. So I need to make sure their characters are prepared for that. And like Hermione's, Emma, whatever, Watson, she wrote like 11-page paper on it. Harry Potter wrote a few pages. Ron didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then director went to Ron and goes, why didn't you do it? And he goes, I didn't think my character would do it.
That's fire.
That's fine. Like a story like that is so cool.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get that story from the people that was working with the kids.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. It was cool.
Like the other director, I forgot which one, when he was telling the twins how to fight with each other. Yeah. And like the twins, they wouldn't fight. They're like brothers. So it's like, hey, we're just gonna mush around. He's like, no, I want you to really get in there. So he got in. He's like, which one of you want to fight? And one like raises his hand, and they really start tussling so much that they body slammed him, and he cracked like 3 of his ribs.
The director cracked his ribs. And if you notice at all the directors, not a single Jew.
You know Harry Potter's Jewish, right?
Who, Daniel Radcliffe?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Mother's Jewish, dad.
So the opposite of what you're going to have.
Wow. Shots fired.
Boom.
Okay.
Killed me.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was, I think it's annoying to see these like publications just say bullshit for clicks and not be a comedy podcast. And that's my only issue. Right? Like if they were just like, yo, we're a comedy podcast.
If we're Comedy Week, I'm fine with that.
Yo, does anybody hate the Babylon Bee? Right? Nobody hates it. It's funny. It's satire. It's bullshit. They can just say things that are untrue in a funny way, and people go, they listen, they watch, they share the stories. It's fun. We don't care. So if you're one of these news organizations that you know that you're already saying fake shit, just join the team.
Yeah.
Be like us.
Yeah.
Say the bullshit. It might be right. It might not be right. But as long as it's funny, it goes.
If cable news network was cable entertainment network, I have way less of a problem with it.
But you know what it is? It's way easier to just lie about things that have happened. Like the barrier to entry for somebody consuming your content, if you're telling them the truth in the news, you don't even have to be interesting. You could be like, here are the facts. And be like, I got
it's like improv or stand-up. Yeah.
So I'm talking about my boy.
Like, and I'm not even joking. I'm not even saying
that
just
improv game shit is hard. I ain't going front. I'm not going back to that. I'm not doing no more improv
But if you
games.
go to an improv show, they're laughing at everything because they're like, oh, they're coming up with all this on the spot.
Yeah.
And the bar is higher with stand-up because it's like, oh, no, I expect you to be funny. You probably worked on this. Let's go. It's just the bar is way higher for what's funny and what's not.
Right. Yeah. For entertainment, you got to look at like news is like, I just want to see something and I just want to know what the fuck is going on in the world.
Yeah.
And for us, it's like, you're not coming to find out what's going on in the world.
I'm coming to be entertained.
Yes. Entertainment
to
perspective.
Laugh,
yes.
specifically.
We have the hardest job.
Yeah.
Okay. We're the best.
You hear that, war veterans?
Yeah. What up, people? You just watched a clip from our weekly Patreon episode. You can support the Flagrancy. You can support this unapologetic, unfiltered, uncensored content that we drop weekly on our Patreon at patreon.com/flagrant2. You want to go join? You should, because it's the top 10 Patreon in the fucking world. That's right, for good reason. Go check out why at patreon.com/flagrant2. All right, peace.